Welcome to our 2024-25 Concordia men's basketball season preview. My name is Matt Menzl, being joined by junior Jack Fritz. Coming up, we'll be joined by the head coach of the Falcons, Sean Cassidy. But for you, how was your off season?
Good, actually. We had tournaments throughout the summer and open gyms. I believe everyone was going to those, and I saw a lot of improvement with everybody. It seems like everyone has a chip on their shoulder going into this season, and I believe it's going to be a good year for us.
Well, for you, what was your focus? What areas of your game are you looking to improve?
Yeah, so I spoke with the coaches. I want to become more of an outside threat than I was the previous season. Obviously, the paint and footwork is a big one, but shooting outside makes it more expandable, makes others be able to go inside and work.
Regardless of numbers, how do you feel like you've improved, or how's the mindset changed from year one to year two, and now hopefully here in year three?
Yeah, so the competitive edge with everyone here, it seems to be getting more and more competitive as the days go by. Everyone's playing for a spot, everyone's playing for some minutes, so it feels like, practices have been very competitive. Everyone's getting on each other, holding each other accountable, and the intensity is always picking up.
Let's talk more about that, okay? So there's close to 30 guys on this roster as we speak. You talked about the competitiveness in practice. How competitive is it?
There's guys getting into each other, chipping at each other. I love it. A lot of us are friends off the court, so always getting to each other. We're talking to each other on and off the court. So when we get on that court, it's more like, I'm coming after you, everything like that. So it's enjoyable. It's a good experience.
When you look at the roster, there certainly are a few faces back from last year, but there are a lot of new faces as well. So how's the chemistry developing?
Yeah, actually going really well. So Casey and Logan, of course, are the new ones, and a freshman newcomer, Luke, who is with us now. They blend very well with us. Casey, Logan, and Luke, they're bundles of joy to be around. I feel like I got to know him right away, especially Logan, considering he's another big man. So I feel like it's going to be a great chemistry with us.
When you look at this team, this may be difficult to answer, being that the game hasn't been played yet, but is there an area you look at and say, we're going to be really strong here? This could be our strength, at least early on in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Defensive-wise, we are very, very long. I believe it's going to be hard to get passes through us, and especially in the paints, we are a great paint defense. And along with our perimeter defense with Jonah, Zach, Makai, a bunch of other guards out there who can play on the perimeter, it seems like we're going to have a really good defensive team this year.
When you talked about trying to get that outside shot working, could this team once again be a three-point type squad?
Yes, absolutely. We have many capable three-point shooters. When one of us gets hot, it gets dangerous for everybody else out there.
Finally, for you, what goals do you have for yourself, maybe for the team going through this winter?
Definitely make the tournament for sure. That's a big one. I believe we have the capability of doing something like this, and then also, just having a winning record, because the last 2 years, of course, haven't been the way we wanted them to go. So I believe going into this year is something we have to have a winning record and make the tournament again.
Well, Jack, thanks for your time. All the best this season.
Thank you.
Being joined by Sean Cassidy, the Falcon men's basketball head coach, back for season number 18. Before we talk about the here and now, when you look back to last season, how would you summarize last winter?
We were doing really well, and then all of a sudden injuries hit us and completely derailed what we were trying to do. So we gave it everything we had. I thought we had a really good January, and in February we just ran out of steam.
You look at last year's team now compared to this season's squad, at least on paper, it seems like there's some familiar names, but there's a lot of new faces as well.
Oh, there's nothing the same. It is completely different, different roster, different makeup. It's exciting, but at the same time, it's a little bit scary when you look at the guys that are returning versus the voices that we had last year.
So when you look at the newness to this team, if you will, how has the approach been, or what has the approach been at training camp? Has it been different from years past?
Well, we're doing things a little bit differently just because of the personnel. But again, it's got to be Concordia basketball and all that we do. We have to keep certain things the same. That's what has made us successful in the past. That's what we need to stick to. It's just a matter of we don't have the same voices that we've had for the past few years. So now it's got to be a different voice, and who's leading us, and how are we accomplishing what we need to get done.
How have the newcomers been fitting in?
Oh, fitting in great. But my daughter loves puzzles. Both my daughters love puzzles, and there's a puzzle out on our kitchen table, and I was looking at that this morning, and I was saying that's our season right now. We're kind of putting the corners in, and we're trying to figure out the rest of the border, and hopefully it all comes together a lot quicker than it is right now.
You have a roster as of right now of 27. In an ideal situation, how deep can this team be?
Oh, I think we get really deep, especially with the top 7, 8 guys. There's really no drop-off. It's just a matter of who's going to be on, who's going to do what. And then we've got a number of role players that are really good in their role. And now it's just a matter of figuring out how does that all fit together.
When you look at the players that are back last year and you look at the roster and there are at least 3 seniors, including Jonah Jers, do you see some of those guys' roles changing? Does it stay the same? Is it a more expanded role?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out, that they're really good in their roles. Are they capable of doing more, or should they stay more to what they're doing? But again, those 3 are all-out hustle guys. We know that. They've been hustle guys for 4 years. That's the bottom line for what we need out of them.
And you had some talented freshmen that stepped up on occasion last year. What expectations do you have for some of those guys as they now head on to year number 2?
Those are the big question marks. I know you don't like to hear that, but how quickly can they advance? They've done some really good things in practice. I've been so impressed with the amount of work that they've put in the offseason that everyone has taken a big step forward. Now it's a matter of how does that fit in with the rest of the group, and can they be assertive enough and confident enough in what they've done? And that's been my biggest preaching point with them is show people what you've done. You've worked so hard. Do it when you get on the floor.
I know there's always a method of the madness when you look at your non-conference schedule, but what do you hope to get? Forget about wins and losses, but these first few non-conference games, what are you looking for?
You know, I always schedule tough. So this weekend, we are opening in a really tough schedule, tough environment, and that's what we want. We want to find out really quick, what do we have, what do we need to work on? And so the first 4 games of the year are very, very difficult. And we're going to see where we fit at the end of this, but it's all part of putting that puzzle together and how do those pieces fit in. I really like the group we have, and I really like the toughness of this, and then really getting away, I think is really going to help us. Spending a weekend down at Illinois College, playing against very good competition, I think that's going to help us get closer together.
A neat opportunity later on, an exhibition game for the Falcons, but a chance to take on Northern Michigan, a Northern Michigan team that just played Michigan State in an exhibition game. A neat opportunity.
Oh, absolutely, and we're so thankful that they're inviting us back. It's a long drive up there. Again, it's a long day over a Thanksgiving weekend, but we're excited about it. And again, a chance to play someone really good, really well coached, that we have a lot of respect for, and put ourselves out there in an exhibition game that we can try some different things.
As mentioned, this weekend the team tips off at the Illinois College Tournament, the home opener and conference opener on the same date on November 26th against Wisconsin Lutheran. What do you tend to expect when you think NAC basketball?
Oh, it's going to be competitive every night. Anyone can beat anybody every night. And we know this conference has just become a real powerhouse in the Midwest. You take a look at the scores that have already happened. Our conference is very good. They're very well coached. WLC is nationally ranked, which is awesome for the conference and great for them with all their guys returning for their 5th year. So we started off right away knowing where we're going to fit into this conference.
So finally right now, as we wrap things up, to summarize this entire interview, what do you feel like at this very moment could be the strengths of this team, and what are some of the question marks once again for this squad?
Well, I think we have a lot of individual talent across the board. We're very good at what we do. Now it's a matter of how are we going to put those pieces together so it is not an individual, but it's a team, and how do those sets and those calls work to everybody's strength, and can we move with purpose? Can we create for each other? Can we make everybody else better and have fun doing it?
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. All the best this season.
Thank you very much.
And for more on the men's basketball team, be sure to stay tuned to CUWFalcons.com.